current trend on social media at the moment is that you should be doing a 72-hour fast. So I decided to make a jovial reel the other day saying there are things I would rather do, like cutting myself with paper, punching myself in the face, and apologizing to Joe Wicks. There was outrage in the community, people saying, James, you don't fast for fat loss, you do it for cell regeneration, you do it for autophagy, you do it for health, you do it to cleanse, you do it to clear your body of toxins. So then it dawned on me that maybe my evidence-based science approach to fitness could be incorrect, and these people that studied at the school of YouTube could know more than me, and there was only one way that we could get to the bottom of whether or not a 72-hour fast was the best thing for your life. So I am doing a 72-hour fast. When you want to find experts on any topic, the best place you could look is in the comments of your video. And here we have someone saying, stuff your face all the time, never take a spiritual break from food. Never test your mind or your body. Live in comfort and pleasure forever. Stop hating fasting because you can't do it. Then Jenna. I mean, I agree on most of your posts, but this is silly. The proven health benefits of fasting are insane. Before we get into what the science says about prolonged fasting and an expert witness that I brought over to testify in the trial against fasting, let's set the rules. I will not consume any food for 72 hours. I will consume water, electrolytes, and my 0-calorie productivity drink Newtonic to allow me to work and get that little bit of happiness that I so much desire from caffeine. But for 72 hours, which is 3 days to any of you watching this from Essex, I will not consume any food at all. You may remember that I did a takedown on Athletic Greens, and I got a lot of hate for this because I didn't take the product for 30 days to feel the effect from green flavored water. Although I was trying to make the argument that, you know, when you pay people $50 every time they sell a product, they might just so bend their experience with aforementioned product to promote it, maybe over-exaggerating some of the health benefits, considering when there are thousands of people giving you commission on each sale. So I thought to avoid that backlash, I had to get in the trenches and eradicate food for 3 days. I'm not exactly the pinnacle of health at the moment, but as of today, I am 98.4 kilograms. Do you reckon I'll have a six-pack by the end of this? Where's your chest? Don't start. And as far as effort goes, I know that ruining 3 perfectly good days of my life, especially with a torn MCL, which I'm supposed to be healing by eating properly and giving it the nutrition it needs, is kind of stupid. But if I want to make it as a YouTuber, to make my parents proud that I actually accomplished something in my life, there's going to have to be some kind of sacrifice. A bit like that time Mr. Beast said Logan Paul 100,000 times on a live stream. And if any point I break my fast, breakfast, get it? Breakfast. Look at me, already an intermittent faster. I will, for every hour I come in under the 72 hours, I will buy a V-Shred training program. That will be my punishment. So it's currently 10:20 a.m. You would think that I was starting the fast now, but no. I had my last meal last night at 8 p.m. So what's that, 12, 13, 14? So I'm already just over 14 hours into a fast, although I would just say I haven't had breakfast yet. Now, to break up this video into segments that can bring the most value to you to understand whether or not you should be doing this, let's cut to one of the industry experts that knows the most about training and nutrition, that knows the data much better than myself or really any other person in the industry. Let's see what Lane Norton has to say.
People are really big on fasting right now, and these 72-hour fasts are going viral. Let's dig into it a little bit and what the research says. There are benefits health-wise to fasting, but it's not because of anything inherently magical about fasting. It's because fasting is an easy way to create a calorie deficit. If we look at the human randomized control trials comparing fasting-based diets or time-restricted eating-based diets where calories are equated between the diets over the course of a week, if I'm not eating for, say, 1 day, if I'm doing, say, alternate day fasting, it's not a reasonable comparison to look at alternate day fasting versus just whatever the person is normally eating, because they're going to be eating less.
Food makes me very happy. Do you know what it tastes like? Oncoming depression. Oh. The thought of not eating dinner tonight, the only emotion is depression. At this very worktop here, my missus and my mate, who's staying with me, are going to sit down to have dinner. What have we got here?
Tastes so good.
So the fact I've got to sit there next to an empty plate, the psychological trauma of that, not just for 1 night, not just 2 nights, but for 3 nights in a row. If you didn't have a health condition, this is just such a stupid thing to do.
How are you feeling, James?
Depressed. My favourite chocolate covered popcorn, those nice peanut butter chocolate balls you made. Good news is this is only going to get worse.
Any regret?
Loads. If Lane Norton hadn't sent the video, I would have bailed by now.
If you're doing alternate day fasting, that means you need to increase your calories on other days to compensate if you're going to maintain your body weight. Now, I did read your post the other day, and I saw a lot of people saying, this isn't about weight loss, this is about health, longevity, because fasting induces
Autophagy.
Autophagy.
Go educate yourself on autophagy. Well, thankfully, I have, because I've done my PhD in nutritional sciences and I have a bachelor's in biochemistry. And autophagy is the latest buzzword. And what autophagy is just lysosomal protein degradation. You're taking proteins that are old or misfolded or have something wrong with them. And part of the process of fixing those things is to degrade those old proteins.
Day 2, just weighed myself, lost a considerable amount of weight. So first 36 hours, weight lost, we're now at 93.5. Kind of hungry, but emotional hunger. Probably not so much physical. And I crank caffeine in the morning, but it's not been enjoyable one bit. I've not felt great at any point. And I woke up not feeling that hungry. I'm just in a terrible mood. Are we going to hit that point where everyone's like, oh my God, you just get so much energy. You just feel amazing. You're like, oh my God, I'm doing a fast.
Well, guess what also induces autophagy? Exercise and normal low caloric restriction. In fact, there's more evidence that caloric restriction increases autophagy versus fasting. So fasting can increase autophagy, but again, we have to equate calories on a weekly basis if we want to assess this. So for example, if somebody is eating, let's say their maintenance calories are 2,000 calories a day, and since everyone's saying, well, autophagy or fasting isn't about weight loss, it's about health. Okay, well, let's compare maintenance diets. If your maintenance is 2,000 calories a day, that's 14,000 calories a week. If you do an extreme 72-hour fast, that's 72 hours of fasting, that's 3 days where you're not eating. There is research showing that calorie restriction can improve longevity. Not fasting, but calorie restriction. But here's the thing, I don't even think it's the calorie restriction, because I did animal research and I know intimately how they do this research, which is, it's not like they're determining these animals' maintenance calories and then reducing. What they do is they feed them however much they want, and then they reduce it by a certain amount. So in the studies in monkeys, they will calorie restrict by 30%, but that is a 30% reduction off what they would eat if they just let them eat however much they'd want. And what they see in the studies is these monkeys lost weight for a very short period of time, and then they just maintained. And if you look at the odds ratios, you look at the improvement in longevity, it's actually just because they stopped them from becoming obese.
So we're at nearly 5 p.m, day 2. So I got like nearly 30 hours to go. Just drinking loads of tea. It's just making me happy. I'm like, oh, would love to eat, but I'll have a cup of tea instead. Don't mind me while I'm just having my fasting-based depression, FBD. FBD is a real thing with this. But actually, do you know what? At some point this afternoon, I just got this random burst of, no, I didn't. Now, you can never let another man operate your barbecue, because you need to know where the hot spots are. You need to know where the cool spots are. You need to know what to do when the flames erupt. Only a man who has a barbecue knows his barbecue. Nearly at 48 hours, we're at what, 46 hours no food? No, even the dog's eating. Just to rub it in. FBD, fasting-based depression. The only emotion I've experienced doing fasting is depression.
I don't know how I'm gonna eat this.
Day 3, no food. Interestingly, my weight this morning was very similar to yesterday, which didn't make any sense because I literally didn't eat anything. So let's have a look at a comparison. I think I look worse in the after picture. Does that look like a 3-day transformation to you of not eating?
No, you look the same.
I look exactly the same.
Your hat's come off.
That's it. I'm so disappointed. I look fatter. I look less healthy. I could cry. What a waste of time.
What it says is just maintain a healthy body weight. If you maintain a healthy body weight, you're getting the benefits of that stuff. Now, if you like to fast, if you like it for mental toughness, if you just enjoy it, if you find it's a way that can improve your adherence to diet, hey, completely reasonable way to do things. It's totally fine, but there is nothing magical about fasting.
This has been horrible. I know that a lot of people are going to think I'm over dramatic. I have a very good finger on the pulse of my mental health. I've never experienced such malaise, nihilism, and fasting-based depression because I get so much happiness from food. That's why I'm not more shredded. Because me, to give up 5% of my body weight for 50% of my happiness just isn't a good deal. To other people, it is a good deal, sure. But it's been miserable. Now I've still got a few hours left, so I'm gonna do my final weight measurements. But you heard what Lane said. I would have much rather gone to 1 meal a day for 7 days. I would have much rather have done 1 meal a day for a month than no food for 3 days. Because I've worked very hard throughout the day. I'm very productive. I'm getting a lot of stuff done. When it comes to the evening, that's my time to relax, to be with my missus and my friends and to enjoy myself. To deny myself of that for only purported benefits, we'll put the definition of purported there because it's a good word and it's great to use in conversation, it's just insane. I'm now about to have a fun day in Australia. No doubt I'm going to go for lunch with my friends. They're going to eat and I'm going to be sat there. For what? If there were genuine benefits to this, I would admit I was wrong, but they're not. Think of it this way. My TDE is about 3,000 calories. For fat loss, as long as I train, I can have 2,500 calories. For an aggressive deficit, I'll go to like 2,200. I'll even show you a picture here of probably the most shredded I've been. This and this. And let me tell you, I did not feel good. I did not feel well. Sex drive, training, recovery, everything. Terrible. So if you times these by 7, looking at 21,000 calories per week. 24 hours, 24 hours, 24 hours, 72 hours. So my calories for the week are still going to equal 15,000, which is a deficit of 6,000 calories, sure. If I just stuck to my fat loss calories on every single day of the week, sure, I potentially would have got a little bit less autophagy. I would have been able to keep my quality of high flyer, my muscle protein synthesis higher, my mental health higher, my routine better. I was up at 4 a.m. this morning with hunger pains. For what? A 2,500 calorie difference. What? As far as negligence, it doesn't make sense. And what? Even if we wanted to bridge this gap even further, what do you think would have been better to accomplish the same amount of autophagy, the same amount of deficit? To do a 3-day flipping water fast, or maybe just to reduce my calories by 350 calories? That's literally a protein bar less a day. Or I could have implemented another training session that would have burnt 350. So instead of doing a 3-day fast, I could have just doubled up my training at jiu-jitsu. This as a means of improving health, longevity, fat loss, autophagy is ridiculous. It has just become a virtue signal from fitness influencers that have got nothing better to talk about apart from the fact that, hey, look at me. I didn't eat for 3 days, so therefore I'm better than you and you should hire me so you can maybe be as great as I am. And it makes me sick. Remember, a huge amount of eating disorders exist within the fitness industry. However, if they take their top off and you see a six-pack, you think they're healthy. There are plenty of fitness influencers that are throwing up their meals after they eat them. There are plenty of fitness influencers that cook their favorite meal and sniff it when they're on a cut and refreeze it and eat it 3 months later. There are plenty of fitness influencers that suffer from orthorexia, where they obsess over food quality being the best it could possibly be. For some reason, if someone can go prolonged periods without food and make themselves look better, we seem to think they know a lot about health and nutrition. And I know what you're thinking. What about Gary Brecker and Dana White? He got Dana White to implement better health-seeking behaviors. You got him to lose fat, got him to eat better, probably got him to drink less. You get anyone to lose 30, 40 pounds of fat and trust me, they're gonna feel like someone revolutionized and changed their lives. The magic is in a sensible calorie deficit. But that advice is much harder to sell. I ate a high protein diet and a sensible calorie deficit and started lifting weights and I really regretted it. Said no one ever. 2 and a bit hours to go until I can eat my first meal. But the edit is finished, I hope you enjoyed it. And if any of you want to disagree with anything that I've said or Lane's present in this video, feel free to make yourself look like an idiot in the comments. You have a good day. Bye-bye.